Hi, I'm Chris here with Michelle. We're both from Tennis Warehouse, and we are bringing you a natural gut and a natural gut hybrid string review right now. We've got a couple of Babolat rackets each, both strung up, one with a full set of natural gut. That's old school. Babolat is celebrating 150 years of production of natural gut. That's longer than Wimbledon's been around. So this string is right there with the origin of tennis. And then in the other setup, we've got natural gut mains and an RPM in the crosses. So we've got one old school, one new school setup. Michelle, tell us about your setup and your tensions, maybe.
Yes, and I've got the new school racket, so I have both of my setups in the new Babolat Pure Drive 98. I cannot believe we both like the finer things in life, and how come this is the first time I've ever tried a full bed of natural gut. I played around with the tension. I had the opportunity to play with it a little at 56, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a little flighty for me, so we did bump up that tension the second time around. I did get to try it at 58, but then my hybrid setup with that RPM blast in the mains, I did enjoy and settle in at 56 pounds. We actually did that for both the mains and the crosses. What about you?
So interesting, you went with the RPM in the mains.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've done the opposite in my hybrid, so I'll start there. I went with my regular 52 pounds, natural gut mains, RPM in the crosses. I really like the way it's letting the natural gut breathe and do what it does, and it's moving out of position, snapping back, and I'm getting great spin out of it. That gut really slides well against the poly, so I find it very, very spin friendly. And then in my natural gut, even I like low tensions. I'm usually like 48. I went up to 57. I thought you were going to be in like the high 60s, low 70s.
I think if I were to keep going, I would continue to ramp it up. But that feel on the string bed, there's nothing like it. If you have the opportunity to try a full bed of natural gut, at least once in your life, you have to try it. Again, I can't believe it's taken me so long.
And the great thing about natural gut is even when you go to those higher tensions, it has more elasticity than a man-made material. So even if you catch it by the frame, it's still gonna stretch and pocket and give you that comfortable feel. So you can shank it and not pay the price.
Thank goodness, because I've been doing a little shanking. It's a little windy out here. I also wanted to talk a little bit about this hybrid while we're at it. I really dialed in and loved it. With the natural gut full bed, I was missing a tiny bit of access to spin and obviously a little bit of control. But when we got that RPM blast in there on the mains, I felt dialed in. I had my control back, but I still had really easy power and that same sensation of letting the ball sink in. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, the hybrid gives you just a deeper pocket than you would get from a full set of poly. It gives you a plusher response that goes along with that sense of the ball just sitting on the string bed a little bit longer. And then I was getting a little bit of flight, a little bit more loop on my shots, but they were still dropping nicely inside the lines. Where with the natural gut was a real confident string for me when the stars aligned, I called the ball out in front, I had a really nice clean contact. I hit a much bigger, say, forehand or backhand than I usually would. I was getting more pace. I felt like the ball was penetrating the court better. But when I didn't, it was much easier for me to overhit with the gut, which made it a little tougher, like going for passing shots and stuff.
Yeah, I get that. And yeah, I was missing that access to spin with the full bed. It's really easy to see why so many pros do use natural gut in a hybrid, especially out here. We're amongst some of the players on the courts. I think it's such a great setup. And again, I'm used to that really boardy, stiff feel. I've been transitioning as I get a little older. I want something a little softer. It's nice on my ligaments and my arms. And then it's just that easy depth and power.
So the one thing I did when I went with the hybrid was, I know the strings are gonna relax differently in the racket. Natural gut maintains tension better than anything else, we know that. And co-polys are the exact opposite.
Yeah.
They lose tension pretty quickly. So I had a little pre-stretch done on the RPM that's in the crosses of my racket just to even out that tension loss. Unlike the pros that are getting their rackets here, the BNP Paribas Open, they're getting them strung fresh for practice, strung fresh for matches. We're not like that, and especially with an expensive setup like this, I'm gonna wanna keep it in my racket as long as possible. So just a little bit of pre-stretch on the RPM. It's gonna stiffen up the feel a little bit, but still with that natural gut main, I found the strings skidded without the pre-stretch, and I just found with the pre-stretch, they relaxed at more of an even rate, and it felt playable until I'm gonna break one of them. And sometimes actually, surprisingly, I break the cross when it's a hybrid like that, strangely.
That makes sense. I was going to say, a lot of times I don't like a full bed of RPM blast because it does seem to bag out after a week or so, but I didn't have any issues with durability with the hybrid, and as you mentioned, obviously not with the full bed. It's holding on strong in there, and it's been a fun racket to hit.
So if you're gonna go into a match situation, which one of these two would you pick?
Oh, I absolutely would go with the hybrid of natural gut with the RPM blast. I'm really liking the RPM in the mains and the gut in the crosses. Maybe I'd try it the other way around, but I think I'd be pretty set on here. I would probably string it between 58 and 60 pounds.
I think I would go with the same. I really like the natural gut. It's old school. My strokes are kind of old school. You know, I'm not a modern striker of the ball by any means, but I do love that modern access to spin that the RPM delivers in this hybrid. And so for me too, just for the control, if I was a better player, I think I might go natural gut, but I want that margin for error, and the hybrid gives it to me.
Yeah, well, this was such an awesome playtest. I'm glad we got to test both of them side by side. And I don't know about you, I'm loving that Pure Drive 98, so I'm sure your Pure Aero 98 also compliments it. I'm gonna have to hit yours as well.
Yeah, super fun playtest. Great setups for the rackets. Both rackets, I think, felt great with these strings. And both of these strings will be coming in a special 150-year anniversary packaging, so you can check out our website for those. And they're just beautiful string setups, great playing rackets, and I really enjoyed this playtest.
Me as well. I can't say enough about the setups. Again, I can't believe it's taken me so long to actually try natural gut, but I appreciate the history of the Babolat story and the VS gut, and I know it's a very special setup, so really excited to have joined on this playtest.
So if you want to check out these strings or a full selection of Babolat strings and products, be sure to head to Tennis Warehouse Europe, or Tennis Only.